proper survey conducted before the establishment of East India Company. So proper survey was conducted. So there was an Englishman, Thomas Stevens. Thomas Stevens he was the first Englishman who came up to Goa. Thomas Stevens, the first Englishman who came to Goa. And thereafter, Ralph Finch. Ralph Finch also came to India and stayed in the court of Akbar. He stayed in the court of Akbar. Ralph Finch came to India and stayed in the court of Akbar. Description of Ralph Finch is very important. He presented understanding about the Mughal administration, understanding about Mughal administration, taxation, possibilities of trade, so Ralph Finch gave very valuable description to the English governors and the merchants about all these. So Ralph Finch, he stayed many years in the court of Akbar, and then he presented a valuable description about the understanding of Mughal administration, taxation, and possibilities of trade. Possibilities of trade. Possibilities of trade. Ralph Finch. After Ralph Finch, John Milton Hull. John Milton Hull. He came to India via land route. And Drake came to India via sea route. So these are the some adventurous work done by Englishman. And there is one more thing, that those Englishmen who got capital punishment, they had only one way to save the life, and that is either you go to America or either you come to India and then work for the government. So this is a way that you can save your life. So many of have taken the adventure in the name of saving the life from being executed, and this is how the adventure work had started. So many were the missionaries. So after Thomas Stevens and then Ralph Finch was very important, and then John Milton Hull and the Drake all came, and they presented a very good description about the India and the trade possibilities. So after their report, a company was formed. Governors and merchants of London trading in East Indies. Governors and the merchants of London trading in East Indies. So therefore, this is a company which was established, and in short we call this company as East India Company. So governors and the merchants of London trading in East Indies. So it's called East India Company. India and the East. Don't consider that this is a one thing, East India, India and the East. So this is, in short, we call East India Company. Governors and the merchants of London trading in East Indies. So in short, we call East India Company. East India Company. So East India Company, it was established in 1600, 1600 AD, and it was a private organization. So many capitalists and investors had formed this company. Many capitalists and investors had formed this company. So this company was a joint stock company. Joint stock company. Many capitalists and investors had formed this company. So this company was basically a joint stock company. All the investors were shareholders. All the investors were shareholders. So many company of England, many capitalists and merchants of England, investors, politicians, all were involved in this East India Company. So it's called joint stock company, and most of them, all of them were the shareholders. Largest shareholding was for the Queen Elizabeth. So Queen Elizabeth herself was involved in this company. So Queen Elizabeth was the largest shareholder of this company. So better you can call this company as a Queen's Company. Queen's Company. So Queen Elizabeth was the largest shareholder. So largest shareholder of East India Company. It is called Queen's Company. So company immediately after establishment applied for charter. Company applied for charter. Charter means a royal order. Charter means royal order. So the governmental consent needed. Company wanted to go in a specific ways that we take the permission from the home government and then company will operate in India. So company wanted to go through all the exercisation of duties and the power in the tune with the government. So company will take permission from the home government, company will pay tax to the government, and then government will protect the interest of the company. So this is how the company wanted to go with the very constitutional and defined framework that is well predicted with do's and don'ts. So here the company got royal order, and in this royal order, in this charter, it was clearly said that East India Company is the only company of England, having trading right with the East, having trading right with the East and India, entire East and India. So only company of England having trading right with East and India. So East India Company is the only company of England having trading right with East and India. And therefore, this is the reason why it is called East India Company, and this is called trading monopoly. This is called trading monopoly. So East India Company is the only company of England having trading rights with East and India. This is called trading monopoly. No other company of England will have a trading right with East and India. No other company of England will have a trading right with East and India. Trading right. This is called trading monopoly. Secondly, this charter was granted for 15 years. Later on, it was extended for indefinite period. For indefinite period. 1609, it was extended for indefinite period. So initially this charter was granted for 15 years, later on it was extended for indefinite period. So 15 years, and later on it was extended for indefinite period. 1609, it was extended for indefinite period. So keep on recording all these important facts before understanding the East India Company and its nature. So company was established. So charter means royal order. East India Company is the only company of England having the trading right with the East or India. Trading right with the East or India. So company came to India in 1608. 1608 and established first factory at Surat. Established first factory at Surat. The factory means warehouse or trading depot. Trading depot. Trading depot. The first factory at Surat. Administrative office. Administrative office, trading depot, or warehouse. Warehouse. In 1611, company established first factory in Masulipatam in the eastern coast. Masulipatam in eastern coast. So Surat was the first factory in the western coast, and Masulipatam, this is the eastern coast. This factory was established. Anyway, so when the Surat factory was established, then one of the servant of East India Company, Captain Hawkins, although he approached many times to have appointment with the Mughal ruler Jahangir, but Jahangir did not permit it. But after continuous persuasion, Hawkins had appointment. Hawkins wanted official permission from the Mughal ruler to carry out trade. Official permission from the Mughal ruler to carry out the trade. But there was a very strong Portuguese lobby in the Mughal court. Portuguese was very strongly rooted here. And perhaps many nobles were getting chocolate toffee from. Portuguese. So they always gave caution to Jahangir not to have meeting with English. Otherwise, Portuguese will angry and then our trading prospect will get affected. So therefore, there was a Portuguese lobby. So Captain Hawkins did not get permission from the Mughal ruler because of the strong Portuguese lobby in the Mughal court. Portuguese lobby in the Mughal court. A strong Portuguese lobby in the Mughal court. The Mughals had a very big relation, very strong relation with the Portuguese. So Captain Hawkins did not get permission. Although Captain Hawkins had meeting with Jahangir, there was a very good cordial relation. So when Hawkins was leaving the Mughal court, he got the formal title of Khan. Jahangir said that from today your name will be Hawkins Khan. So he became honorary Mughal Mansabdar. The Hawkins Khan means he did not convert it to Islam, but basically he became the honorary Mughal Mansabdar. Honorary Mughal Mansabdar means that he will have same allowances and the salary, that 400 horses. So 400 Jat rank. Becoming a Jat rank is a very special treatment. So therefore he became honorary Mughal Mansabdar. So Hawkins get the title of Khan. Get the title of Khan from Jahangir. But he did not get the trading permission officially. Did not get the trading permission officially. But 1611 and 1612 Hawkins defeated, English defeated Portuguese twice. Captain Middleton defeated Portuguese at Bombay. Captain Best, he was really best. He defeated Portuguese at Swali. Swali was near Surat. Swali was near Surat. At Swali. So Captain Middleton and Captain Best both defeated Portuguese at Bombay, at Swali. Swali is near Surat. So after these two victories, obviously the confidence of the English had generated. So confidence of the English had generated all of a sudden, and Mughal also got inclined to English. So Portuguese was having difficult time after these two consecutive battles, 1611, 1612. So after these two consecutive battles, the Portuguese had a very difficult time. So next year, 1613, Jahangir officially permitted East India Company. This is a very good point to collect from here. So Jahangir officially permitted East India Company to have a first English factory officially there at Surat. So that was absolutely a very good grant. So Surat factory became official now. So if you have a question in examination, which was the first English factory, then you have to write Surat. Which was the first official English factory, then that answer is Surat. So don't confuse in any way that there is other like Masulipatam or others. Answer of both the things is Surat. So officially you have to pick it here. 1613 the officially permitted East India Company to construct factory at Surat. 1613. So this fact is very important in collecting the examination point of view. 1613. British King James I, he sent an ambassador. Sir Thomas Roe, in the court of Jahangir. Sir Thomas Roe in court of Jahangir. Thomas Roe, he stayed there till 1619. So 1615, Thomas Roe came here and he went back to England in 1619. So he stayed many years in the court of the Mughal. Sir Thomas Roe, he was ambassador. He was ambassador of the British King James I. Sir Thomas Roe. And Jahangir, he permitted East India Company to construct factory in all Mughal territory. To construct factory in all Mughal territory. So this is another big gain. So all Mughal territory was to be used for construction of factory. Wherever there will be a Mughal boundary, the English was permitted to open the factory, and obviously English would get benefit and Mughals also get benefit, because Mughal's trade will get integrated with the European trade. So this is a big achievement in all the sense that Mughal factory was, English factory was established in all Mughal territories. 1615 to 1619, these 4 years, English East India Company, the factory. In all the Mughal territory. So that is a great benefit, because Mughals keep on expanding in entire India, beginning from the northern India. By the time of Aurangzeb, the pan-India presence was there for the Mughal, and obviously English also opened factory at many places. This farman was a big farman, that company got right to open the factory in all Mughal territory, and Mughal territory keep on expanding. Jahangir was in northern India, but by the time of Shah Jahan, the English entered deep into the south, and by the time of Aurangzeb, it was entire India there was a Mughal. So entire India there was English. So expansion of Mughal was the expansion of the British territorial gain for the trade also. In the morning itself, I told you that English never came to India with the objective of becoming the political power. But it is circumstances in India persuaded East India Company to aspire for political power. This is a big statement, I made it, that till Mughal empire will decline, the centralized system of the Mughal will collapse, the empowerment of English would not be justified. So here at this stage, you have to confirm one thing, that till Mughal was there, English was only having the mentality of a trading organization. But once the Mughal collapsed, then English ambition to become the political power had generated quickly, very softly, very swiftly. So English never came to India with the objective of becoming the political power. It is circumstances in India persuaded English to aspire for the political power. So here the English was just to exploring the possibilities of trade. Right. So at one trading centers of India, there were many factories, many companies were operating. So it's not only that if Surat was taken by English, then French will not take the Surat. They were the trading organization. So in one city, there could be many factories. Even other companies will also establish factory at the same location because they are intended for the trade and commerce, and they were a trading competitor as well. So 1615 to 1619, Sir Thomas Roe stayed and got permission to construct factory in all Mughal territory. So the integration of the Mughal trade with entire India had established. Okay, so let's see some of the forts constructed by East India Company. Forts was very important part of their expansion plan. Forts, the forts of East India Company. (1639) Francis Day. Name is Francis, but he was from English. So Francis Day. He got a site near Madras. He got a site near Madras. And he got this place on lease from ruler of Chandragiri. Ruler of Chandragiri. So he got this place on lease from the ruler of Chandragiri, and that place was fortified. That place was fortified as Fort St. George. Fort St. George. That place was fortified as Fort St. George. So this was the first fort created by East India Company in India, and this became the headquarter of English. This became the headquarter of English in the eastern coast. This became the headquarter of English in eastern coast. This question was also asked in prelims. This is the first fort constructed by East India Company. Then just below that, there was a fort called Fort St. David. So Fort St. David, just below Madras, the Fort St. David. So Fort St. David was taken from Maratha. English had taken this place from the Marathas. So Fort St. David was taken from Maratha. Then we already know that Bombay was taken by company as a dowry from the Portuguese. And then Charles, after the marriage, had no use for Bombay, and Bombay was donated to the East India Company merely on the 10-pound annual. So 10 pound was the liege amount. So merely on the 10-pound annual, the liege of the Bombay was given to East India Company. And East India Company had developed like a main commercial centers in the eastern coast, western coast. So in eastern coast we have a Fort St. George, and the eastern coast we have the Bombay. So Bombay became the main center of the East India Company in the western coast. And the eastern coast we have a Fort St. George. Fort St. George. And then look at here at Calcutta. Calcutta. In 1698, there was a company officer named Job Charnock. Job Charnock. He had taken the 3 villages on liege: Sutanati, Kalikota, and Govindpur. 3 villages was taken on liege: Sutanati, Kalikota, and Govindpur. And this was developed as Calcutta. This was developed as Calcutta. Particularly this Sutanati area, it was fortified, and it became Fort William. Fort William. So it was fortified, and now it became Fort William. So therefore, these are the settlements you can watch here. The strong fortification was made by East India Company. Strong fortification was made by East India Company. So Fort St. George, Fort St. David taken from the Marathas. This is Bombay, liege from the Charles after Dowry transfer, and then this is Calcutta. Calcutta, that Job Charnock had created Calcutta, the fortification of Sutanati, and then Fort William was constructed. So by the time of the Aurangzeb, English had a very good placing in almost all the important segment where there was a possibilities of trade. Possibilities of trade. But English was more focused in Bengal. Try to understand this dimension, that why English was, out of the many places in India, why English was so much focused in Bengal. You need to understand this and focus the point-to-point calculation, then I will dictate. Hopefully you will write again. So why English was so much focused in Bengal? Look, the Bengal was a very prosperous state, and its prosperity is mainly because of Bengali handicraft and availability of the commercial crop. So Bengali handicraft was so much demand in the world, and cash crops that included indigo, which was very much demanding, jute, opium, tea. So these are the commercial crop available in plenty. So obviously a trading organization needed such thing which is very much demand all over the world. So English was very much attracted to Bengal. Secondly, the geopolitical location of Bengal was such that if you look at the Bengal, very much connected, Hooghly port and Tamarlipti, now Chittagaon port, it was very much connected to the various parts of the world. So it's not only southern India, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and then China. Of course, the state of Malacca, South China Sea. So you can see that Bengal was connected to the trading world, not only the Asiatic trade, but in the intercontinental trade as well. So this is how the beauty of the Bengal at that time. And third point, that English had many settlements in Southeast Asia. So except Indonesia, the English had a very good settlement in many parts of the Southeast Asia, Burma, Malaya, Singapore. So English had a very good settlement, except Indonesia. Indonesia for Dutch. So English had very much settlement in the Southeast Asia. So these settlements had a good connectivity with the Bengal. It was guided from here. So Bengal offered them a better connectivity compared to other places. Better connectivity compared to other places. So this is the reason why the Bengal was the base center for the trade and commerce, and why English was so much connected to Bengal. So now you can write the English attraction for Bengal. In continuity with that, you can write that after permission from the Mughal, English established factory at many places. English established factory at many places. But Bengal was very much preferred by the company because, first point, Bengal was a prosperous state. Bengal was a prosperous state. Its prosperity was mainly related to Bengali handicraft and availability of cash crops. Cash crops was available in plenty, like indigo, tea, opium, jute, etc. Cash crops was available in plenty. The second point, geographical location of Bengal was such that it participated in Asiatic trade as well as intercontinental trade. Geographical location of Bengal was such that it participated in Asiatic trade as well as intercontinental trade. Intercontinental trade. Geographical location of Bengal was such that it participated in Asiatic trade as well as intercontinental trade. Third point, English means English East India Company. So English East India Company had many settlements in Southeast Asia. These settlements were operated from Bengal. These settlements were operated from Bengal. So, these settlements were better connected with Bengal compared to other parts of India. These settlements were better connected with Bengal compared to other parts of India. So, these are the factors that how Bengal was so important for East India Company, and Bengal was very much deeply connected to East India Company. So, first, second, third, all these facets. So, out of the many places, Bengal was better connected. So, obviously, the attraction for the company towards Bengal was there. So, till the time of the Mughal company had presence almost everywhere. Look, for your information, if you want to remember it, then okay. Otherwise, uh, from Akbar to Aurangzeb, so after Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire had disintegrated, and then weak powers coming to the center. Bahadur Shah first, Jahadar Shah, and the Farrukhsiyar means that the nobles started getting the role of the kingmaker. The nobles started getting the role of kingmaker, and so on. Many rulers will come. So gradually the powers of the Mughal keep on ceasing. They seized over by the nobles. Even the nobles started playing the role of a kingmaker. So Akbar to Jahangir to Shah Jahan to Aurangzeb, Bahadur Shah, and then Bahadur Shah first, and Jahadar Shah, and then Farrukhsiyar. Farrukhsiyar. So if you take the record, it was during the time of Akbar that East India Company was established in England. When Akbar was ruling over India, then East India Company was established, 1600. But Akbar died in 1605, then his son Jahangir became the ruler. So company came to India during the time of Jahangir. East India Company came to India during the time of Jahangir. Okay, so 1608 AD, East India Company was established. Then expansion of the company keep on going, and then Aurangzeb. But company's relation with the Mughal was going very smooth. There is no problem, except on one occasion. This is time of the Aurangzeb, when the company and Mughal relation had almost over. So companies and Mughal relation was going very smooth, except on one occasion, that is during the time of Aurangzeb. So you can give the heading, the Mughal and the company's relations. Mughal and the company's relations. So after Farman of Jahangir to Sir Thomas Roe, after Farman of Jahangir by Sir Thomas Roe, company had established factory at many places. Mughals also benefited a lot from the company's trade. But during the time of Aurangzeb, the relation between company and the Mughal horde was almost over. Relation between Mughal and the company was almost over. Because Aurangzeb, he got news that those who were going for the Hajj, they were harassed by the company. So news was continuously reaching in the ears of the Mughal ruler. So John permission to trade in Bengal without payment of custom duty, concessional trade. Company got permission to trade in Bengal without payment of custom duty. So this was a concessional trade. So this is only one occasion that the company's relation with Bengal was not going. Okay, so audio was not there, no problem, we will hear. So, 1686, East India Company sacked Hooghly and declared war with the Mughals. 1687, Mughals captured all the territories of Company in Bengal. All the territories in Bengal. And then 1688, this is the time Aurangzeb got the news of harassment of Hajj pilgrims on the west coast. So Aurangzeb confiscated the company's factory all over the empire. Aurangzeb confiscated the factory all over the empire. John Child was arrested. After paying compensation of 1.5 lakh. After paying compensation of 1.5 lakh. Compensation of 1.5 lakh. Okay, I have repeated it from the Aurangzeb itself. Okay, so John Child was released because he was the person responsible for. So 1.5 lakh. And finally, the concession of trade was given. Company got free trading right in Bengal without any payment of custom duty. Company got free trading right in Bengal without any payment of custom duty. Without any payment of custom duty. $1.5 lakh John Child was released. So this is a time that during the time of Aurangzeb, the company's relation with the British was not good. And British was actually trying to dominate in Bengal. So first Hooghly was captured by the British, declared war against Mughal. 1687, Mughal captured all the British factory in Bengal. 1688, when the harassment of the Hajj pilgrims came to the news, Aurangzeb confiscated the English factory all over India. And then John Child was arrested. So company wrote many apology letter. Finally, the factory was restored to them. John Child was released after taking the compensation of 1.5 lakh. And then the company got concessional trade in Bengal, that without any custom duty, company will do all the trades in Bengal. So this is how the time of the Aurangzeb went very bad, but it was restored very quickly. it was restored very quickly. During the time of Farrukhsiyar, so is it okay now? All of you got the point from where we have delinked? Fine. So, Aurangzeb, by the time of Aurangzeb, the system relation had deteriorated, but it was restored quickly with concession of trade in Bengal. Then subsequently, by the time of Farrukhsiyar, Farrukhsiyar, he was a puppet in the hands of English, in the hands of noble Sayyid brothers, in the hands of Sayyid brothers. Sayyid brothers, puppet in the hands of Sayyid brothers. So Farrukhsiyar, he gave 3 farmans to the company in 1717. This farman was very much in the interest of the company. So this farman said that company will have a free trade. Company will have free trade in Bengal, Gujarat and Deccan. Huge area was covered. With only payment of 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees annual. So company got a free trading right in Gujarat, Bengal and Deccan, the only payment of 10,000 rupees annual. Company also got the right to issue the dastak. Dastak was a free pass. So any goods or the services under the company's banner, there will be no tax. So company also got the right to issue dastak. So now dastak was earlier issued by the Nawab. But company got right to issue dastak. Free pass. So any goods or the services carried out under the banner of company will go without tax. And that pass will be issued by the company, not by others, not by the ruler of Bengal. So this was a very powerful grant to the company. So dastak was also issued. So company's Mughal relation was doing very good. Right to issue the dastak. So beginning from here, the company's establishment was running very high. And the priority was to maximize the possibilities of trade. Maximize the possibilities of trade. So 1717 Farman. There is a story that there was a servant of East India Company. He was a doctor. His name was Hamilton. So Hamilton came in the Mughal court, and that time Farrukhsiyar was suffering from a wound. This is a very painful, and the Mughal ruler's pain means very much pain. So Hamilton did operation to that wound, and very soon Farrukhsiyar became cured. And therefore he was so happy that in a fit of happiness, the Farman of 1717 was issued. So that after this Farman, English was on the very driving seat from Bengal to Gujarat to Deccan entirely. So this was a main commercial centers, was now under the free trade, just only for the payment of 10,000 rupees annual. So this is how the Magna Carta, this is how the Farman of 1717 was discussed. So Farman of 1717. So this Farman will definitely work, that because English was now will become dominating power in Bengal. So then we will discuss about the causes for the rise of British power in Bengal, or the Palasi to Buckshire, Palasi to Diwani. So this is a different story. But we have seen that after advent of East India Company, there was a serious challenges coming out. The company was all powerful. So what we will do, that we first make this company, English East India Company, very powerful in Bengal, and let the Bengal to be captured. Okay, so first we will make Bengal captured, and then we will introduce the French, and then Anglo-French conflict, which is called Carnatic War. Anglo-French conflict will take place, and then we'll make French out of the system, and English powerment will continue from here. So first I have made some arrangement, although the story of Bengal capture is later and the Anglo-French conflict is earlier, but for our convenience, let us capture the Bengal first. So you can give the heading, because we have moving in the Bengal very swiftly. So you can give the heading, Rise of British Power. Rise of British Power. From Palasi to Diwani. From Palasi to Diwani. Rise of British power from Palasi to Diwani. Rise of British power from Palasi to Diwani. Look, Bengal, the rise of British power from Palasi to Diwani in Bengal. So Bengal was like a Mughal province, Suba. So Aurangzeb, he appointed Murshid Quli Khan. Murshid Quli Khan. As Subedar of Bengal. Subedar of Bengal. Murshid Quli Khan as Subedar of Bengal. He was expert in land revenue. So Murshid Quli Khan started agrarian reform. Agrarian reform. So he was expert in land revenue. So Murshid Quli Khan had started the agrarian reform. Agrarian reform. Mainly there was two farmans that we have discussed. The clause was that Magna Carta, but two farmans. So Murshid Quli Khan, Subedar, agrarian reform. He removed old Jamindar and created new landed aristocracy. New landed aristocracy. Created new landed aristocracy. He removed old Jamindar and created new landed aristocracy. Old Jamindar was removed. He distributed interest-free loan to the peasants known as Takabi loan. Interest-free loan to the peasants known as Takabi loan. So Takabi loan was a type of loan which was interest-free. Interest-free. So Murshid Quli Khan, as a Subedar of Bengal, after death of Aurangzeb, he paid rich tribute to Mughal. Mughal ruler started struggling since day one. So after death of Aurangzeb, he paid rich tribute to Mughal. And paid hefty gift, huge amount to the Mughal, and purchased his Nawabi, autonomy. So he paid to the Mughal and said, can I write Nawab before my name? So Mughal said, you can write anything but keep on giving the money. So he paid huge money to the Mughal, and then it was given as a title of Nawab. So title of Nawab to Aurangzeb, to Murshid Quli Khan. Title of Nawab. Title of Nawab to Murshid Quli Khan. So Murshid Quli Khan purchased his Nawabi from the Mughal ruler, and this is called autonomous ruling system. Autonomous ruling system. Autonomous ruling system. So Murshid Quli Khan. During the time of Murshid Quli Khan, that Farman we have talked about, that during the time of Murshid Quli Khan, Farrukh Sher issued Farman and giving company a free trading right merely on the payments of 10,000 rupees annual for trade in Bihar, trade in Bengal and Deccan and Gujarat. Trade in Bengal, Deccan and Gujarat. Deccan in Gujarat. So 1717, free trading right. After Murshid Quli Khan, we have a new Nawab, Sujauddin. Sujauddin, he also gave rich tribute to Mughal. He also gave rich tribute to Mughal. And Bihar and Orissa was also added in Bengal. Was also added in Bengal. Added in Bengal. So he was a joint Nawab of Bihar, Bengal, Orissa. Joint Nawab of Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. He was a joint Nawab of Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. So big territorial gain that he got ultimately achieved. So look at the territory that Sujauddin had. The huge area, if you compared it today, this is the area you can take from Jharkhand to Orissa to Bangladesh, Assam. This is the territory which is called Bengal. Bengal. So he became the joint Nawab of Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. Obviously, Mughal rulers was struggling with finance and these regional rulers were very powerful. So they keep on purchasing the concessions. Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. So Sujauddin, he was a joint Nawab of Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. Then we have Sarfaraz Khan. Sarfaraz Khan is another very incompetent personality, useless fellow. And it was good for us because we have nothing to read about. I told you that we like useless fellow in history because we have nothing to read about. Sarfaraz Khan. Name of the treaty, let's see some questions. Sir, could you please provide the name of the person involved in the Battle of Hambayana? Look, name of the person is not important. So this was a battle massacre and nobody had accepted the responsibility, but English and the Japanese collaborators of the English. So English and the Japanese collaborators were there in Indonesia, Hambayana, when the Dutch killed all of them. So 17-18 people were killed in this massacre and thereafter war had started. Okay, the name of the treaty between Krishnadeva Rai and Portuguese, the treaty of Vijayanagar Empire treaty between Krishnadeva Rai and Portuguese. There's no such name at a place. It was considered as Hampi. but not it is called Treaty of Hampi, but it was in the capital of the Krishnadev Rai. No, Job Charnock 1698 he created that Calcutta, did not died, correct information. So Sarfaraz Khan, there is nothing eventful in his reign, so we have nothing to read about Sarfaraz Khan, but next ruler was Ali Bardi Khan. He was a very interesting personality, Ali Bardi Khan. During the time of Ali Bardi Khan, listen first, I will dictate then. Relation between Nawab and company was not very smooth because of the misuse of dastak. Dastak was widely misused. A relation between Nawab and company was not very smooth because of the misuse of dastak. Okay, so dastak was misused. So what kind of misuse was there? Since dastak was originally given to company, and the company's banner would be exercised a free trading system in Bengal. But even the company allocate this dastak to the servants of East India Company in their private trade, which was illegal. Although servants of East India Company was provided to have a trade in the Farman of 1717, that servants of East India Company can exercise trade in Bengal after payment of the taxation similar to that of the Indian merchants, but they could not use the dastak. So this dastak was given to company and the banners of company, not to the servants of East India Company. But servants of East India Company was also using dastak in their private trade, so which was illegal. So therefore the objection should come from the Nawab, and because of this the relation between Nawab and company was not very smooth. Okay, then secondly, sometimes this dastak was sold to Indian merchant also. So loss of the revenue, that those who are not giving, they are not giving, but those who are giving, they are also not giving. So that is ultimate loss to the revenue of Nawab. So therefore the strange relation between Nawab and the company had surfaced by the time of Ali Bardi Khan. But look, Ali Bardi Khan, he was a very cool and composed person. So rather than creating the conflicting situation with the company, Ali Bardi Khan decided to take maximum advantage from the company. He considered European company as a beej, honey. Means these European companies are like bees. If you nourish, then you can get honey, and if you poke them, then they will bite. So therefore he decided not to have a conflict, but rather to take the maximum advantage for the trade of the Bengal. So you can write here, during the time of Ali Bardi Khan, relation between Nawab and company, during the time of Ali Bardi Khan, the relation between Nawab and company was not very smooth because of misuse of dastak. Because of misuse of dastak. Relation between Nawab and company was not very smooth because of the misuse of dastak. Because of misuse of dastak. There were two kinds of misuse. First, originally this dastak was granted to company. Originally this dastak was granted to company. But servants of East India Company also utilized this dastak in their private trade. Also utilize this dastak in their private trade. Servants of East India Company also utilized this dastak in their private trade, which was illegal. Although as per the Farman of 1717, the servants of the company was permitted. Servants of the company was permitted. But they had to pay tax like Indian merchant. They had to pay tax like Indian merchant. Second point, sometimes this dastak was sold to Indian merchant also. So there was a gross violation of the Farman of 1717. There was gross violation of the Farman of 1717. Sometimes the dastak was sold to Indian merchant also. So there was gross violation of Farman of 1717. But Alibardi Khan, change the paragraph, but the Alibardi Khan avoided the conflict. Avoided the conflict. Avoided the conflict. He compared the European companies with the bees. He compared the European companies with the bees. B-E-E-S. He compared the European companies with the bees. He compared the European companies with the bees. So he wanted to take maximum advantage. He wanted to take maximum advantage from the company. He wanted to take maximum advantage from the company. So he avoided the conflict. Look, this Alibardi Khan, he had another problem. He had no sons, but many daughters, many son-in-law and many grandsons. So all the grandsons were aspiring to become Nawab, and that is called Mera Nana. Nana always. So therefore all the grandsons aspiring to become Nawab. So Alibardi Khan, he avoided the conflict, but the problem was that who will become the successor. So therefore finally Alibardi Khan decided to give the throne Siraj-ud-Dawla. Siraj-ud-Dawla. Siraj-ud-Dawla, a boy of 17-18 years of age, had to carry the legacy of Alibardi Khan, and then subsequently you will find that Siraj-ud-Dawla will have to work along with the European companies as well. European companies as well. So Siraj-ud-Dawla. A boy of 17-18 years of age. The capital of Bengal was at Murshidabad. The political capital was at Murshidabad. So all the families and the political activities were there at Murshidabad. but all the economic activities was there in the Calcutta. All the economic activities were there in Calcutta. All the economic activities were there in Calcutta. So Siraj-ud-Dawla became new Nawab. Became new Nawab. So accession to Siraj-ud-Dawla was not very smooth, because once Siraj-ud-Dawla became Nawab, Siraj-ud-Dawla was challenged by other claimants of the throne. He faced challenged by other claimants. Other claimants of the throne. Siraj-ud-Dawla was challenged by other claimants of the throne. Other claimants of the throne. Most powerful challenger was his cousin brother Shaukat Jung. So Shaukat Jung and Ghasiti Begum, his mother. So Shaukat and Ghasiti combo was the most powerful challenger of Siraj-ud-Dawla. Ghasiti was his Masi, the mother's sister. So Shaukat and Ghasiti combo was the most powerful successor of challenger of Siraj-ud-Dawla, Shaukat Jung and Ghasiti Begum. So you can understand that the home affair of the Nawab was not very good. Home affair of Nawab was not very good, as there was other claimants of the throne. So Shaukat Jung and Ghasiti Begum putting tough challenge for Siraj-ud-Dawla. But in Calcutta, the situation was little tensed. Calcutta, all commercial activities were there, so situation was little tensed. Look, in Calcutta, there were only 2 European companies had left. All were for the namesake. So major competition was between English East India Company and French East India Company. English East India Company and French East India Company. And because of the Anglo-French rivalry, English East India Company and the French East India Company, because of the Anglo-French rivalry, they started fortification of their territories. So both English and French started fortification. Both English and the French started fortification. English East India Company started fortification of Fort William, and the French East India Company started fortification of Chandranagar. Chandranagar. So Fort William and Chandranagar. These two areas was fortified. So Fort William and Chandranagar. So fortification means this area was fully secured, that the Nawab's military could not get inside. So both the companies were operating like that. They were the independent sovereign authority. This is the reason why you'll find so Fort William and Chandranagar. This fortification was challenge to the sovereignty of Nawab. Challenge to sovereignty of Nawab. Because Nawab's military could not get inside. So this fortification was challenge to the sovereignty of Nawab. Siraj-ud-Dowlah passed an order to stop the fortification. Passed an order to stop the fortification. Obviously, challenge to the sovereignty of Nawab. So Siraj-ud-Dowlah passed an order to stop the fortification. French stopped, but English continued. French opened the command of Siraj-ud-Dowlah, but French stopped and the English continued. So Siraj-ud-Dowlah had no option. Then Siraj-ud-Dowlah had taken the military action on Fort William. He sent the troops and entire Fort William was vacated. So Siraj-ud-Dowlah had taken the military action on Fort William. So you can understand that once the Siraj-ud-Dowlah had taken the military action on Fort William. English never expected that Indian rulers will take such a provocative measures. This is the second time the English had to take the test of Indian ruler. First time it was Aurangzeb and now it is a Farrukhsiyar. So Farrukhsiyar, second, now it is a Siraj-ud-Dowlah. So Siraj-ud-Dowlah invaded over Fort William and all the Englishmen, they ran away from Fort William and they had taken a shelter near a small island, Fulta. They had taken shelter near a small island, Fulta. Fulta was a small island in the Bay of Bengal. So all the Englishmen had taken shelter near a small island, Fulta. In Bay of Bengal. But there is once this episode had taken place, so news spreaded in entire India and England that the Englishmen were badly beaten by Siraj-ud-Dowlah. That in a Desi language you can say the bhai log peet gaya. So Englishman was badly beaten by Siraj-ud-Dowlah. And then a story was cooked in the air. So look, what is the story? How English had provoked the entire scenario. There was an Englishman, his name was Holbell. So Holbell said that when Siraj-ud-Dowlah invaded over Fort William, he caught many Englishmen, and then all the Englishmen were locked up in a very small, ill-ventilated room. Small room, ill-ventilated, and 146 Englishmen were put inside. English के ऊपर English, English के ऊपर English. So all the Englishmen were locked up in a very small, ill-ventilated room. So many of them had died in the morning. Therefore, it was considered as most inhuman behavior of Siraj-ud-Dawla. Most inhuman behavior of Siraj-ud-Dawla. So Siraj was held personally responsible for that. So sympathy was running very high in favor of English East India Company. Not only in England, Indians also, you understand the Indians, how quickly they turn towards sympathy. So therefore, this is called black hole tragedy. And this is a story because this story was not corroborated by any other evidences except Holwell. You know, for example, I am telling you, there was a poet in Bengal, Ghulam Hussain, who was a contemporary poet, who wrote everything related to the Battle of Plassey, ball by ball account, point to point account, in his book Siyar-ul-Mudkhirin, but he did not mention anything related to the black hole tragedy. So this was entire fabrication of British, Holwell. But after this, English government also sent troops in support of East India Company. Okay, so therefore, immediately after this episode, there is a black hole tragedy. Black hole tragedy. This was a story presented by Holwell. Black hole tragedy was presented by Holwell. This is a story presented by Holwell. It was said that many Englishmen were captured. Many Englishmen were captured and locked up in a very small, ill-ventilated area. Ill-ventilated. So many of them died of suffocation. Died of suffocation. So Siraj-ud-Dawla was held personally responsible for that. Siraj-ud-Dawla was held personally responsible for that. Personally responsible for that. And it generated wave of sympathy in favor of East India Company. Wave of sympathy in favor of East India Company. However, we doubt the authenticity of his story. We doubt the authenticity of his story, as it was not supported by any other evidence. There was a contemporary poet in Bengal, Ghulam Hussain, who wrote Siyar-ul-Mudkhirin, ul Mudkhirin. Siyarul Mudkhirin. Ghulam Hussain who wrote Siyarul Mudkhirin, giving all the events that resulted in Battle of Plassey. Giving all the events resulted in Battle of Plassey. Resulted in Battle of Plassey. But he did not mention anything related to black hole tragedy. But he did not mention anything related to black hole tragedy. So we doubt the authenticity of his story. We doubt the authenticity of his story. After this story, first time British troops was sent to, after this story, first time British troops was sent to India to support the East India Company. So this is a provocation. So we will see after the episode of Black Hole Tragedy, how would the company respond. So who granted Taqabi loan by Aurangzeb or Murshid Quli Khan? Because he is a Nawab of Bengal, so he tried to create the atmosphere of his willingness for the reforms. So this is a rise of the British power will take place tomorrow, and Battle of Plassey and the circumstances. So we'll carry forward tomorrow from here. Thank you so much, and that's all for the day.